really think that I don't really do like special pieces like barbecue chicken pieces and buffalo wing pizza like that. I haven't got into
Keep it
that
normal.
yeah, so like when I hear like lobster pizza, it's like it kind of throw me off, but it's like I gotta try it.
Well, yeah, speaking of lobster pizza, the man Energy in the building, live from Barry's. That's how you know he's in LA. Another episode, the producer room, powered by Producer Culture. Today we got the upcoming legend in the building, my man Energy. What's going on?
Energy made this one.
No man, really just chilling, like just really soaking in all the success and really like knowing my worth in this game. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just really like learning my place right now. So really soaking in.
That's one thing I'll say for sure. Being around Energy, watching, being a part of it, building up. You know, whether closely or from the outside looking in, Energy definitely someone who has done a good job of absorbing everything around him, building on what's working, cutting off what's not. So, I mean, you deserve it all, and definitely might be the biggest producer come up in the last 12 months for sure. It's been insane.
Man, I appreciate that shit for real.
Yeah. No, it's been insane. I mean, the best place to start is probably obviously the Flint, the Michigan as a whole music scene is just going absolutely crazy right now. From, I don't even want to name the names because we're going to miss out on a bunch of people, but, obviously Jay, Rio, Mike, Louie, Grams, Crispy Life, so-and-so, some Vezo, whoever, All-Star JR, Lee, like it goes on and on and on and on and on. And I'm missing people and I apologize, but it's really cool to see you kind of step in and be the grooming sound behind a lot of that. And, I'm definitely really excited to get into it and kind of figure out how that all happened for sure.
Yeah, it's really kind of great, like seeing all this opportunity, and I grew up like, you know what I'm saying, like my teenage years, kind of seeing like where all this Detroit shit was rising, you know what I'm saying? But it's like seeing the whole Flint thing it's kind of great to see that, because it's like we was always like we didn't really have nothing going on, so it's kind of like seeing like we a part of like the Michigan story. It's like it's kind of great to see that, and really just me being a part of it, a big part of it is kind of surreal. Like I always said, I wanted to be like one of the goats, so it's like I want to be an innovator. So it's kind of dope to see like everybody innovated and just breaking through to the industry. So it's really dope.
It's been insane. So we're gonna take it back quick, but first, this is obviously the Energy interview, but we gotta show some love to some of our other guys out there. First of all, shout out my man TQ. We know TQ's right there. He said he doesn't have a haircut or whatever, but shout out TQ. Shout out Pop, shout out Mo, our guy, both of them. Definitely, obviously helped you out in a lot of different ways, that they helped me out in a lot of different ways too. So super, super grateful for them, super appreciative for everything. They obviously mean a lot to the spot where a lot's going on at. But like I said, this is definitely the Energy interview, but shout out to our other guys, man, Synergy Records. Shout out Pablo 616, shout out Sav, shout out Baby on the Track, shout out Jalen, all the guys, and even a step beyond that, shout out Ant Beats, Jose the Plug, all the guys, man. Everybody is going crazy. Carlo, who I know is there now. Everybody's going crazy. So just a huge congratulations to everybody for sure.
Yeah, and even Michigan Meats. I be telling niggas like I think Meats was like one of my biggest inspirations, like with that whole Drago and Bino way. So yeah, shout out Meats.
Shout out Meats, shout out Drago and Bino. All right, taking it back for me personally. So I've always been somebody super kind of like in the mix in the tight beat world. A lot of people kind of know how I was able to figure it out a little bit in the producer space, which was basically early on, I would watch a lot of basketball hoop mixtapes, and then I would basically figure out who all the big producers were that were making the beats behind these hoop mixtapes. Because when I'm young in middle school, whatever, in my mind, I think it's the most insane, amazing thing in the world that when the slam dunk happens, the beat drops. And realistically, it's nothing too special, but it's still cool though. So I
Yeah,
went
yeah,
from
yeah,
that, and then I start watching the type beat world unfold. And, shout out a lot of the, initial guys in the type beat world who really like broke it down. But then, I started working and helped collecting royalties with a lot of up and coming type beat producers at the time. Guys like TNT, Tago, Speaker Bangers, Relly Made, a whole bunch of guys, Payday, a whole bunch of guys. The first thing that I saw was something I had never seen before. Being someone who never really tapped out of the type beat world, always made sure I had my eyes on it in some way, shape, or form. In
yeah.
about February 2020, I start seeing something I never seen before, which was this emergence of Flint type beat, which
Yeah,
I always said this too. Those three words don't even really mean anything. Like,
yeah,
when you make a Drake type beat, you're trying to emulate a sound that is a person, or Rod Wave type beats have gotten so big, or, Chicago, you might see G Herbo or Dirk or whoever. But Flint type beat was something I started seeing, and I had never seen before a city type beat or this or
yeah,
that. And if you don't know what you're looking at, you would really think it doesn't mean anything.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
what was kind of the inspiration for that? What made you start doing it? How did it really come together?
So, uh, what made me start doing that? It was like I was at work. I was working a job, so I was detailing cars, and
Huh.
and usually they'll be like 11-hour days. You know what I'm saying? From like 9 to 8. You know what I'm saying? And it'll be like long ass days. So and throughout that time, like I'll just be uploading beats to my YouTube. I'll be sending beats. I'll be, you know what I'm saying? So I was just sitting there at work, and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I seen a comment, or I seen something. Somebody on Facebook has said something about they don't fuck with they don't. It was somebody in Flint. They don't fuck with the way that this music sound. Like it's like y'all trying to sound like Detroit. You know what I'm saying? And really, I kind of wanted to like separate it. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't want to put it. When I was thinking about it, I was gonna say energy, but I said a Flint type beat because I was thinking more of like a collective, like
Mhm.
bringing the city up as its own. You know what I'm saying? And creating that platform of, you know what I'm saying, of more producers to thrive. And I really didn't think it was gonna like be that innovative. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? But it just kind of like dang, I started seeing videos of, of Flint type beats, and it's kind of like, and it's just crazy. It's like I didn't think it was gonna be a big deal, but I'm just like, well, let's separate it.
Yeah,
Let's put a stamp on like our kind of beats. So
definitely. So, how often after you started doing it did you start seeing people copying it, start posting Flint type beats like there's no tomorrow?
yeah, I feel like it was like shortly after. Like I feel like it was like around that time. Like I don't know. It was like a big like mesh of everything. Like I didn't know like where people started getting inspired or when they start doing those kind of beats. It was kind of crazy. I don't know when, but I think it was around the February or like April time. Like it might have been a little bit earlier than that. Like it might have been 2019. I think I've seen like probably like five like producers that did it. I know one for sure, like Darko did it. Like I think I heard him like the first person to do like Rio type beat, and it was kind of like my,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think after that it was like a big mess between February and April. So,
Yeah. No, it definitely got crazy because bro, I remember the first time I hit you, you had, I think, 800 followers on Instagram. And now,
yeah,
then to now is completely taken off.
yeah,
So I feel like one of the first stamping moments for energy and the energy beat specifically is definitely Coochie. Shout out Jay, shout out Louie, the family. Um, Bro, what was the process of that song like? I mean, it 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 took over the summer, I feel like, and it really started going crazy. What was it like for you just hearing it for the first time, and when you really started watching it, put up crazy numbers on that Northern Potential YouTube page?
yeah. It was the fact that it was that whole thing was crazy, and because I actually sold that beat. I sold that beat to a dude named Ada Live, who's a rapper in that Michigan area, and I sold it to him. Like I'm just like I had posted on my story. I sold it to him, and then I accidentally sent it to Jay. Like I like accidentally sent it to Jay, and then like he had like I think Jay had posted a snippet or something like that, but he had sent me the song like the same time. Like it was like a big like thing at the same. Like it was like so crazy how organic this stuff happened. Like I was supposed to send that beat. Like that's crazy, but it's like all that happened. I had to tell the dude like, man, my fault, bro. Like we can do a beat swap right now. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
But
and he was cool about it. He was cool about it.
Yeah, he was cool about it.
Because when artists are not cool about it, that's a producer nightmare right there. Like,
yeah, for real.
It doesn't get much worse than that. Speaking on the Coochie song, took off, went crazy. I'll never forget when I heard the line for the first time, and I knew it because, you know, me, you, and your pops had already done some business together. We had whatever. I knew your government and everything. But when you heard for the first time somebody call Energy, I think I need Marlon. What were you thinking? What was going on?
That was crazy because it was like everybody knew my name. Like in Flint, like you'll see my face. I wasn't a very popular person, so it's kind of like you'll see my face, but you know who I am. But it's kind of crazy. Like my name was dropped. Like I'm like that's just funny as hell. Like this nigga just really just said my government name. So that's kind of like that was like it was just pretty funny. But like I had that song on repeat like 50 times a day. Like I just played that part back. Like, no, he did. He really just said my name in the song. The song going crazy. Like it was like.
I'm telling you, I did too. I definitely was playing that nonstop. But yeah, that was one. A lot of the beginning, you know, the beginning Rio songs were definitely some that caught super quick, and I felt did a really good job of building that Energy Beats brand and knowing what it was. What was it like working with Rio, especially in the beginning, and what are some of those kind of first songs that you think really stamped you?
Working with Rio was like crazy because it was like I never worked with the artist. At that time, it was like I was having fun with it, but I didn't never see that many views. Like, you know what I'm saying? That meant that like the story was just crazy, you know what I'm saying? But it was just great working with him because like the shit he would just say, like it was like the most raw, uncut music that you would ever get. And during that time, it was like all this shit just fun. Like it's all organic, everything just mixing together. So that was a really fun time for sure. Like working with Rio, I didn't know who he was until about April of 2019. So I locked in with him after shit talking and everything else. Sure.
Went up from there. Shout out Rio. Everyone make sure you go run Rio's music up. Yeah, but that was amazing. So shortly after that, people definitely start tapping in with you, tapping in with the city. Yachty jumps on Flintana not too far after that. You know, what was working with Boat like? He's definitely somebody who, you know, was embraced with open arms from the city. Looks like he did a lot to kind of like boost everything. What was working with Boat like for sure, especially on that album? You're all over his last project.
Yeah, working with Boat, it was like working with Boat was like working with a Flint artist. Like he was like super easy to work with. You know what I'm saying? Like he gonna hop on every beat. So like his work ethic is crazy, but it's just kind of surreal, like seeing like Yachty rap on my beats because like 5 years ago, you know what I'm saying, I'm in the crib listening to Minnesota. So it's crazy like seeing that, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like I grew up listening to that like in my teenager, so it's kind of pretty surreal, like him rapping on it. So that was pretty much an honor.
Yeah. No, I was same thing for me, man. I was definitely sitting there in the college dorm bumping One Night, Minnesota, watching his whole come up, and that was something that was really, really cool to see. Phenomenal project too. Everybody should go check that out if you haven't yet. But yeah, Yachty's definitely not the only one that, you know, on the bigger scale outside of Flint, Michigan artists that you've been working with. I know you got some stuff on the way that you may or may not be able to talk about, but you definitely have one of the hottest songs in that ESTG project, which is going nuts right now. Whole bunch of features on it. Everybody killed that energy beat. Tell us a little bit about that 5500 degrees, how it came together once you found out who was all on it, and just, you know, the whole thing.
That was one of the ones I was like, I wasn't believing. Like, I didn't believe that it was real until like paperwork came. I'm like, oh shit, like you mean to tell me it's a real song? Like, so that came together like Maryland, you know, at Interscope.
Shout out Maryland.
Shout out Maryland for sure, because she tapped in with me, and she just really wanted to, you know, help me grow. So she just passing out beats to CMG, you know what I'm saying? So she was the ground worker at the time, and she put it together. So I appreciate Maryland for that. But you know, that whole thing, I didn't believe it was real, you know what I'm saying? And like seeing that beat, like that was one of the beats I just threw away. Like I really didn't know that anybody was gonna rap on that beat. So that was kind of an honor. Like that was just a crazy experience seeing that it was real, and when it came out, it's just now it's moving to that next phase.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely one of the bigger songs on that project for sure. And the project's going crazy right now. Shout out Forever Rollin', who definitely did his thing on there. You know, all the guys, a lot of people killed that. But yeah, so, you know, as the come up keeps growing, I like how we started from Flint type beat to the artist Rio, Jay, Louis, among others, graduate off the Yachty over to ESTG. You know, recently we do know that No Jumper Energy. What was that process like? I mean, that must have been crazy to be on there. Adam's definitely shown a lot of love to a lot of the artists from the area. Rio and Mike's interview on there is a classic in my opinion. Louis and Jay's interview on there is a classic in my opinion. What was it like to get the energy, the No Jumper Energy episode in? What was that like, just being on a platform where, you know, so many artists have broken, you know, in that space, and just what was that like?
Yeah, that was kind of crazy too. It's kind of like what I was saying about Yachty, and like, because No Jumper covered like a lot of the early like greats. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that was kind of like, that was a surreal moment. Like, and it was a good moment because it's like, you know what I'm saying, people actually noticing like what's going on. So it's kind of dope. But that interview was smooth. Like it was a good vibe. You know what I'm saying? It was really just breaking down the story of Flint, to be honest. So
yeah, it's been insane for sure. Speaking of kind of like the whole energy come up, obviously we started from the Flint type beats, kind of worked our way up from there. But initially, you know, how did you first start? Like your first ever beat you made, how did you really first kick it off? Was it, you know, the classic story of someone gives you an instrument, or you downloaded FL or whatever it may be on your laptop? How did it really start off and kick off for the very first time?
Yeah, I started making beats when I was 3 years old. And,
3 years old making beats.
Yeah, and my pops, he made beats and he rapped. So being around it, I kind of naturally, you know, became attracted to music. And he had a PlayStation 1 where I'll be making beats on the So
yeah, making beats on the PlayStation 1, legendary.
Yeah. So I did that, and through the years, I got FL when I was like 6. You know what I'm saying? Like on the PC, and I kind of been on there since FL3. So I know FL like the back of my hand. Like,
yeah, like
that's damn near life for real.
Crazy. Remind me, how old are you currently?
I'm 20.
20 years old. So started making beats when he was 3, now 20. Obviously, the only thing everybody sees now is how Energy Beats is up like there's no tomorrow. 17 years of making beats,
Yeah,
17 years of whatever. Who knows how those beats sounded from age 3 to 10. But, for everybody who's been doing it for 6 months, 18 months, 2, 3 years, 17 years right here. So it's definitely not an overnight process. And you are for sure an example of that. And, how it pops for real when it's time, putting in the
yeah,
work, 17 years.
for real. And it's kind
Um,
of like that's crazy because it's like I felt like I've been making beats. Okay, like I'm in a new phase, right? So I feel like I've been making beats for like 3 years now.
mhm.
Like because I've been through so many phases of music,
Yep,
period. Like hip hop has changed. So I feel like I've been in like so many different phases. Like I feel like I've been making beats for 3 years. Because I then came up with this sound, but I was on something totally different before this. So
exactly. Yeah, and I think that kind of goes to, back up the point that I said earlier, which is Energy is definitely someone who does one thing, figures out if it works, keeps going. If it doesn't, that's getting cut off. And, even to say that, like in music, you got to be able to keep reinventing yourself if you want the sound to stay fresh, want people to stay interested, etc. So, for you to have been making beats for 17 years and you really only feel like you've been doing it for 3 shows how many times you reinvented yourself. And then, to get the sound that is the sound now, which took however long to groom.
yeah.
But that long amount of time you're making beats is great. But at what point did it actually start working? Like, all right, people are hopping on my beats, so and so wants my beats, people are responding. At what point does it kind of start working?
I say I feel like it started working. Like I think I was in my senior year of high school, and
Mhm.
it was when Dumb and Dumber dropped for real, Mike. And when that dropped, like I think like Reckless and Energy hit 100K views, and like hitting 100K in Flint was like getting $1 million.
Yeah.
Like seeing 100K views was like different. So like that was my senior year. I got something that's going on, but a lot of people didn't know what was going on, which was cool. But it was like a personal achievement. Like damn, like I got 100K on a beat on the video. So, but that's like the first part. But it's like when Legendary dropped, that's when it was like set in stone. Like
Oh,
when Rio did Legendary, that's when it was like over. Like it was over. Like I'm in there. So
in that, yeah. Once he came Legendary, that's one of the songs that if I were someone skips that in the car, they're getting out the car. Like it's one of those songs. It's definitely
yeah,
one of those songs. But no, it's amazing. Like, we kind of worked our way backwards when it came to how it all started, how it got to this point, and then how it really, really first started as far as, the Energy origins goes. At this point in time, my loop emails are filled with people sending me trying to catch collabs with this to get someone with this Flint artist, this, that, whatever. I'm sure, you know, catching the Energy collab is probably one of the most sought after collabs in the up and coming producer worlds right now.
yeah.
What are some things that, when people send it to you, producer etiquette, whatever, that make you do want to work with someone? And what are some things when they send it to you that makes you think, skip, trash, email, whatever?
Well, the crazy thing is, I don't really collab. So like I never I can count how many times I collab with people like over the past 2 years. That's probably like 10 times.
Yeah.
Like out of the whole 2 years. So it's kind of like it's pretty hard for me to get into that bag because the way that everything originated for me was through sitting down and locking in. You know what I'm saying? Finding out what's different, finding out what I can do. And you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like with collabing, it's kind of hard for me to get out there. So
Right.
but that's why I was talking to my brother. I'm like, I'm just gonna create a collab folder.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? For people to send it. You know what I'm saying? Reach back out and actually go through that. Because I don't even have do's and don'ts because I literally don't collab.
Yeah.
Like I literally don't.
Exactly.
Like it's kind of hard. Like I still haven't collabed with my idol, Myron Lucino. Like we've been going back and forth texting and shit, but it's like I still haven't got up and got in the element of collabing because it's just so hard for me not to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. But like I said, the energy come up watching it from, you know, just over a year ago, like I said, when me and you tapped in from 800 followers to what it's at now, and, you know, the beats going crazy on, you know, whether they're the beats on YouTube or whether it's, you know, the beats that are on the other side of a big song, you know, placement wise. It's been insane to watch. I can't wait to see, you know, that 1 year was crazy, but I can't wait to see, you know, the next time me and you sit down and do this a year from now or whatever, see the progression there, and, you know, even so on and so forth. But, you know, definitely appreciate you taking the time. Like I said, the producer room, powered by producer culture, Energy Beats, the one. We appreciate you big time, man.
And I appreciate you, man. Shout out to the producer room, man. Yeah. It's an honor being on here for sure.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Appreciate you big time.